So I was thinking, how big is Vivec's powerful, long, and mighty spear? Back in the day, I started a playlist called The Elder Scrolls Thoughts, and within this playlist I decided to look into some of the topics that interested me, questions that I couldn't fully answer. I would sometimes have to incorporate my own opinions and views to try and make sense of a situation, and I even looked into the disappearance of Vivec sometime during 2019. Oh, 2019, why did I take you for granted? But this series was fueled on you guys and gals suggesting questions and lore topics to look into, and please feel free to drop a suggestion for the next video's main topic, and I'll be sure to not only have voice cracks out the wazoo more, but I'll be sure to show off the winning suggestion at the beginning of the next video while also simultaneously making fun of you. Did you hear that, Mike? We're gonna get to make fun of someone again. You know, this feels good. I have the sun shining through my window in my new home. I have some Terraria to play later, and oh look, Vivec has decided to show me his spear. Ooh la la. Now you might be thinking, Irish, can I please borrow your vintage copy of the 36 Lessons of Vivec where I can learn all about the intricate details of the Tribunal man's gonads? And I will say, no, it's mine. Muatra or Muatra is something that I cannot pronounce. It is also the name of Vivec's spear, a spear that holds a lot of history with its time on Tamriel, and where in current ages of Tamriel we have absolutely no idea where it has gone. I used the wrong where when I was writing my script. I repeat, the testes have left Tamriel. Did you guys want to know a fun fact too? You don't? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. Muatra means milk taker, and now you know that for life. So in short terms, Vivec's spear comes from a somewhat complex story that we are going to understand by the end of this video, and you will all hopefully be able to sit there and say, I have learned the ways of the peen. So Vivec had a twilight story with Molag Cullen and decided to forward his progress into becoming the ascended being he always wanted to be. Now this subject is extremely complex. I can't stress to newcomers and those who aren't deep in the lore how convoluted Vivec is as a character. I spelled convoluted wrong in my script. If you want to own in on exactly what we are discussing here, the best place to look at is the book I mentioned earlier. I also spelt mentioned wrong. I give up. The book is called The 36 Lessons of Vivec, and inside of that book you want to read Sermon 14, as this tells the tale of exactly what went on between the King of Rape and the warrior poet. The King of Rape refers to Molag Ball, one of the daedric princes, and the warrior poet refers to Vivec, one of the main three members of the tribunal. So the overall story that leads up to the creation of this powerful spear is that in layman's terms, Vivec needed more knowledge to progress towards achieving Kim. He never wanted to be with Molag Ball, but more just manipulate him into giving him what he needed. Now, if we have a look at Sermon 14, you will see some confusing language, and don't let it throw you off because it really does make sense when you look at it in the most important parts. The biting of an omnisexual god's penis. So there's a lot out of reading this that can be taken with a grain of salt. You as the reader should interpret this how you need to. We don't need to read into Sermon 12, but all you need to know from that is the marriage between Molag Ball and Vivec. They married each other, had thousands of offspring, and now we're at Sermon 14. There are 9 paragraphs in Sermon 14, and I'll tell you the key point from each one so you don't need to sit there scratching your head. And if I do happen to miss a minute detail, you be sure to go down into them comments and you breathe heavily while you get your fingers sweat all over them keyboard keys, you. The first paragraph has descriptions of Vivec getting down and dirty with Molag Ball for 88 days. The second paragraph has the Duke of Scamps, Kuta, show Molag Ball the 7 penance, a list of military units made by Dagon, and well then Molag and the Duke had their forces going to war with one another. The third one has Molag beat him harder than CD Projekt Red's games, and the fourth one has Vivec return from a trip, get his head back, and then talk about how his Dunmer drums are shaped like a spear. The fifth one has both him and Molag measure their Dunmer drums, and then Vivec decides to turn Molag's penis into a froob. The next paragraph has all the other surrounding Velothi demons and monsters join in, and then there's this massive daedric orgy. The seventh paragraph has the chaos erupting the location that Vivec and Molag got married. Then the next one has Vivec bite off Molag's daedric drum and turn it into a powerful spear, and then at last he decides to wipe out and kill every single one of the offspring that both him and the daedric prince had. Hope that all makes sense because it still doesn't to me. Next up in the story, it turns out out that 8 monsters escaped Vivec's spear. Muatra, and this occurred after he had killed all the offspring him and Molag had made. Vivec decided to hunt these monsters down in the location called the Middle World, and Vivec launched these attacks from a place called the Provisional House inside of his non-spatial space. I swear to God, the lore writers for Morrowind were on crack cocaine. Well, anyway, the stories of him destroying the 8 monsters should be given its own game because it's beyond interesting. But I'll skip to the end by telling you he kills them all by the end, even the most powerful one, Gulgum or Jill. Once this quest is finished, Vivec had one more thing to do with his spear before he was done. The Trial of Vivec commenced, and this occurred shortly before the Oblivion Crisis, and everyone discovered Vivec's true intentions after he literally says them. It's to get revenge on Azura for cursing the Chimer and turning them into Dunmer and all that good stuff. Vivec binds Azura to Mundus, which is the plain planet Nirn and all the divine planets are on, and when he does this, he thrusts Motra down her throat. I'm not even joking. And banishes her from the world forever. This is all actual lore that I just read to you, and I hate myself just a little bit more for explaining it all to you. Vivec's spear has been tapped with daedric secrets alongside sharing his own power within it. It was powerful enough to banish a daedra from an entire world by simply thrusting it down their throat. This man fed the big PP power to Azura. I would put it on a scale of 8 in terms of artifact power because it's strong. Where it is today is a mystery during Skyrim's time, but yeah, that's how big Vivec's spear is. It's really, really big. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to leave a like and all that good stuff. Leave your comments and let me know what topic we should look into next. I hope you found this topic as interesting as I did. I hope it didn't poke your eye out. I hope it didn't make me look like a bona fide badass. I hope it didn't seem like I'm going nuts. I'm done now. Goodbye.